Hello everyone and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. I'm one of the Fall Horsemen, Jessica Moser.
And I am James Moser.
And today we're here to talk about something very exciting.
We are here to talk about
Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Orlando.
For full disclosure, we are Halloween Horror Nights Orlando people.
Yes.
Because we live in the South and we live on the East Coast. We would really like to go to Halloween Horror Nights. Hollywood, it's not really in the cards for us right now. However, Universal, if you want to, toss us some plane tickets and some park tickets,
we're absolutely there.
But what we're going to do here today is we're going to go over the actual houses, our reactions to them, how excited we are for them, because, spoiler alert for those that don't know, we will be attending Halloween Horror Nights 30 in Orlando, Florida this year for multiple days.
3 nights, in fact. Really excited. We've been to Halloween Horror Nights a couple times. We've never been for more than 1 night per year, though.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to giving you a lot of coverage, a lot of content. We're going to do a lot of videos while we're down there, and we're really looking forward to sharing all of those adventures with you.
This is a pretty exciting thing that we're getting to go this year.
So without further ado, let us open up this episode of Hauntstorian, in which we discuss Halloween Horror Nights.
So let's get into it. Universal Orlando's announced all 10 houses, 10 haunted houses at one event.
All 5 scare zones.
And some shows. And some good guy boxes arriving at Universal Orlando.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems like Chucky may have invaded also last minute, unannounced, which is typical of Chucky.
I mean, he's probably just inviting us to come play with him at Universal Halloween Horror Nights.
I know. I mean, he did say he was my friend to the end. But then when I asked that guy for $20, I couldn't find him. What kind of friend is that? We're going to break down each one of the 10 haunted houses, how excited we are for them, our reactions to them, and what we hope to expect going into Halloween Horror Nights this year.
Absolutely. One of the things that I expect pizza fries.
I don't think Universal can run a Halloween Horror Nights without pizza fries. I think that people would tear the gates down without pizza fries.
The times before we went to Halloween Horror Nights, we did not know anything about pizza fries. And so I feel like we missed a quintessential part of Halloween Horror Nights.
Pizza, fries, virgins.
I'm so excited for this whole event. I mean, we've been to Halloween Horror Nights, like I said, a couple times. It's been a long time, like 7 or 8 years ago. But even then, even going 1 night, like Halloween Horror Nights made a big impression on me, and I've wanted to go back ever since. It was one of my favorite things that we ever did, like on vacation, period.
Halloween Horror Nights is for anyone that loves just Halloween in general, not just haunters. It's really labeled a Halloween event because that's what it is. You get shows, there's food, there's merch, there's scare zones, there's haunted houses. You wouldn't have to go through a haunted house and still have a great Halloween experience there.
Sure.
So even if you go once, you kind of want to go back every year. However, we are afraid that this is gonna, start an addiction and we'll be down there every year from now on. Which
okay.
I'm fine with that. I don't like going to meetings anyway, so I'm fine. I'm not gonna quit. My dad did not raise a quitter. Let's get into the haunts and see which ones really pique our interest the most.
So, let's talk about the first original house.
All right.
Welcome to Scary.
Because we don't go very often, we're not very hip on the Halloween Horror Nights backstory lore itself, but we do know that Cary, Ohio is like a creepy place that pops up quite a bit throughout the history of Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. It's sort of like their Haddonfield, their Crystal Lake, their Springfield setting for a lot of these really creepy and odd things.
I think that we can infer from the description, because it talks about you can scream as loud as you want, but the screams in Carrie are louder. So I think we can assume that this house is going to be loud. And one of the things that Universal is very good at is their sound design. I'm really excited for what we're going to see as well, but I'm really excited for what we're going to hear.
It's definitely a trip to Ohio I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely, me too. Me too. Let's talk about Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. Alright, yes. Quick story. I had double jaw surgery about 6 weeks ago. I feel like the dental experience that I've been through is making me not look forward to this house. But I'll definitely be scared by it.
She's less scared and more triggered.
Yes, exactly.
Halloween Horror Nights did not happen last year.
Right.
Universal Resort Orlando did actually open up 2 of their haunted houses for day guests to come through, and a third for a very special event. Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, Universal Monsters, The Bride of Frankenstein, and the special event was Beetlejuice for one weekend.
Right.
So we imagine that haunt's going to be very, very similar, if not completely identical, to what they had last year. But nonetheless, all the reviews that we heard coming out from last year
were amazing.
They really put a lot of effort into telling you a story. Instead of seeing movie characters, you're living a movie that you've never seen before, so you have no idea how this thing's going to end.
I am really looking forward to it. Just the dental surgery thing. It's just going to add a little extra like pepper onto my experience. Alright, Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin. Honestly, the first thing I thought of when I read the title of this house is that pumpkin movie that we watched that we turned off. But that's not fair. Universal did not make that movie. And so I'm sure their story is better written than that movie. I can't even...
That movie was terrible, okay? The movie was god-awful. We got 15 minutes into it. It was atrocious. I can't even remember the actual name of it, but I'll put something right here for you to see it. And all I'm saying is, that movie was garbage. It was hot garbage, and it was terrible, and I want my time back for watching that thing, and thank you for bringing it up, because now I'm triggered. I go crazy when I see a bunch of jack-o'-lanterns, and I can imagine that's what they're doing.
Absolutely, and like I love creepy vine work, which I know is a very specific.
It's very specific. Let us know in the comments if there's a Reddit group for those people, because she'll join next week.
Absolutely, I will. But I love creepy vine work, and I like the creepy harvest vibe that some haunted houses do, and honestly, we don't get that a lot.
And something like this is better suited for Universal because they've got the artists, they've got the time, they've got the money. Custom made for a haunt like this.
Right.
And all I'm saying is, bring on the Pumpkin Lord.
Absolutely. Come at us. Here's what I'm really excited about. Just to spoil it before we even start talking about it. Case Files Unearthed. It's a mystery. I love mysteries. I said earlier today when we were talking about it, it's like Nancy Drew meets Fear Street. It really feels like this is going to be like an immersive story. Universal does a good job of telling stories in their haunted houses. A lot of haunted houses try that. Not very many succeed, but Universal almost always succeeds. And so I'm really excited for them to tell me a mystery story in a haunted house. I really think that's like a level of artistry that I'm just really looking forward to see coming to life.
This is definitely something for the fans because people have always considered themselves a part of the legendary truth.
Puppet Theater Captive Audience. I'm really looking forward to this one too. I guess you're going to just hear me say this about every house that we talk about, but we have a niece who's really scared of puppets, and so I feel like this is going to be near and dear to my heart because every time we've been to a haunted house with our niece and there are puppets involved, she always gets really scared. And for us, a part of the fun of haunted houses is getting scared and seeing how other people react when they get scared. And so I feel like that's just going to add some fun for me. I'm not particularly scared of puppets, but I don't like creepy dolls, and I feel like we could go to the creepy doll part of...
And there's a very fine line before you trip from puppet into creepy doll.
Absolutely.
Creepy doll into puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And then subsequently into, nether fuel.
Alright, let's talk about the intellectual property houses. When Halloween Horror Nights and Universal take on an IP, they really work hard to do it justice. One of the years that we went through a Walking Dead house, and they did an excellent job, and it was very scary. I think I ran screaming from that house.
I think you did. Starting with Netflix, Haunting of Hill House. Haunting of Hill House was made by Mike Flanagan, who is possibly one of the best names in horror now. So it is definitely something that is going to be well appreciated in the horror community. So I'm looking forward to this. This could be another connection between Universal and Netflix. They're just coming off collaborations with Stranger Things for the past couple of seasons. Maybe this is a good sign that we'll get a Haunting of Bly Manor next year, or maybe they'll move on over to something I would suggest, which is doing Fear Street. I'm just saying, if you like doing Netflix, you got a perfectly good Fear Street sitting right over there.
Absolutely.
Camp Nightwing forever.
For life.
One of the IPs that has been seen by previous eyes is
Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
The Ghost with the Most has had a special sneak preview of it last year. They ran it for, I think, the weekend right before Halloween.
I believe you're correct on that, yes.
I think it only ran for 1, 2, 3 days, something like that. Very, very limited.
That is why I won't do 2 shows a night anymore, babe. I won't do.
But it was very well received.
One of the tribute storerooms was themed after Beetlejuice last year. And so we know that this haunted house has been fully built for more than a year. And so I think that we can expect excellence from it.
Definitely. And honestly, there's something about Beetlejuice. It has a different energy. You get to go in and be a little weird. You get to have a little bit of whimsy to it, and they bring a little different attitude with it because Beetlejuice is a different style movie.
Come to think of it, I don't have any rules.
It's something that they can really...
Let's turn on the juice and see what shakes loose.
All right, and then let's talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The pumpkin patch doesn't know, but I am terrified of chainsaws. I will run from them at a haunted house. If you're in front of me at a haunted house and you hear that chainsaw start to go, you just get out the way. You just let me run. That's really the way to do it.
Pretty much.
We have seen a lot of local haunted houses do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's not well done often.
It is a very overdone franchise. Now, local haunted houses do skirt the rules a little bit by doing these IPs. They're really not supposed to be doing that. I can't tell you how many times I have sat at the Sawyer dinner table at a haunted house.
It's a lot. The answer is that it's a lot.
The answer is it's a lot. A little bit of franchise fatigue. Also, as a horror fan myself, I've had enough of the Texas Chainsaw franchise as a series of films, period. The 1974 classic, which is what this haunted house is based on, is fantastic, and the rest, you can kind of take or leave. The remake's okay.
It always feels like the theming was done by somebody who's never seen the movie.
You're not wrong. Which is one thing that I am looking forward to Universal's interpretation of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because the original 1974 film had a lot of nuance. There was a lot more character moments, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them bring these things to life. But because it's Universal, we know they're going to do something specifically good.
Yes.
I expect there to be the sliding metal door. I expect there to be those moments with the family. But we're definitely looking forward to Universal's interpretation of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If we go to your local haunt, as long as you put your back into it, we're great with it. But seriously, maybe Jason? Y'all don't use Michael Myers enough. Something.
Just yell fresh meat.
Yeah, just yell fresh meat. Now, we kind of covered the originals and we kind of covered the IPs, but we left 2 of them out. One of them IP and one of them original, because these are the 2 that we're looking forward to the absolute most.
Absolutely, that's true. And it's not because we think any of them are going to be bad. These are the 2 we really think are going to be well done.
Yeah, these 2 right, that's 4. These 2 right here are the ones that we want to see the absolute most.
Yes. AJN Icons captured There are a few things here that I'm really excited about. I know Universal will do a good job with this because it's their 30th anniversary. They're really celebrating the previous icons of Halloween Horror Nights.
One year that we went, it was the Usher. All kind of fall under the umbrella of one individual in particular, and that's Jack the Clown, which is the main Halloween Horror Nights icon, and who will probably be rustling up all these icons for this particular haunted house. This is also the first time ever that all of the icons will be featured in a haunt together.
Also, one of the things in the description is that who is going to prevail will change. And so that's one reason why I'm very excited we can go through this house more than once.
We don't really know what's going to happen, and that's what makes it even more exciting. That this is just not a normal haunted house. There's some like level of meta and level of attention that is different than anything we've ever seen before.
And the fact that they planned for this variety, that was a large undertaking on Universal's part, and so I'm really looking forward to see how they execute it.
So we are definitely looking forward to capturing some HHN icons.
Yes.
You bring your friends. I'll bring mine.
The house that we're looking forward to the absolute most, I think.
Universal Monsters Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein Lives. I don't know if you could tell that we were excited for the Bride of Frankenstein at all.
Made me from dead. That's how I feel most days.
Unspeakable horror. So this is a house that a lot of people got to see last year. Again, this is a house that's been built for more than a year. James and I went to a Halloween Horror Nights where they did a Wolfman haunted house, and it was incredible. It was probably one of the most meticulously done sets that we'd ever seen. And like, we go to Netherworld, so like, we know meticulous sets. It blew us away.
It feels like they give 150% when it comes to an original story featuring the Universal monsters. This is the reason why Universal exists today, is because of this pantheon of horror creatures. The Bride of Frankenstein is my favorite.
Also, in the description of Bride of Frankenstein Lives house is a hint that there is a cameo appearance by the Brides of Dracula.
Universal, I need you to ride with me on this. Get real close. Next year, Dracula versus Frankenstein. Vampires versus Frankensteins. I want this war. Tear the whole park apart. Those two icons fighting. That is a license to print money. You know what? Just go ahead and take my money.
Wow, that's a large reaction, but as you can tell, we're super excited for this house. There are walkthroughs on YouTube that people did. We refused to watch any of them because we were like, we're going to Halloween Horror Nights next year and we are going to see this in person. And that's the first time we're going to see it is in person. And we're going to bring you guys along with us. You'll get to see us trying a whole bunch of treats at Halloween Horror Nights. You'll get to see us walk through some of the scare zones. You'll get to see our reactions after we come out of the houses for the first time. And you're going to get to hear my soapbox about how much I love The Mummy.
The Revenge of the Mummy, the ride.
It's very good. It's really awesome. Congratulations, Pumpkin Patch. Ride with me on that.
In your nightmares. Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, back for the 30th year of fear.